I grew up alone a lot. Couldn't go outside unless my mom was home. So these actors, like Catherine O'Hara, they were my friends in some weird way. They entertained me. I grew, I just was in awe of them, and so many of these people that made my life what it is and who reached me at a very young age are gone. And she's the latest casualty of just getting older and people passing on. Losing, John Candy when I was 19 was traumatic. Anthony Perkins when I was 18 was traumatic. But Catherine O'Hara has been in my life since I was 13 when I saw Beetlejuice for the first time. And I've adored her ever since. And I think she was a beautiful, lovely woman. And now she's gone. And the world just seems a lot colder.
Boogeyman band coming round the bend. Is Boogeyman band. Is Boogeyman band.
Hey, fellow Bright Fiends. Thanks so much for stopping by the Horror Zone channel. I hope everyone's doing well. In planning to do this video, I started just reminiscing about a lot of things. And, these aren't easy videos to do. I like for this channel to be fun and things like that, but I have to pay tribute when somebody very important to me that was a contributor to either books, music, or movies, any type of art form that reached me, I have to pay tribute to them on this channel. And the news on Friday that the lovely and talented Catherine O'Hara had left us really hit me like a freight train. I was just getting ready to go into a meeting. I was here at the house, and my wife told me that she had died. And she let out this sound at first, and I thought she was watching something on television. And I went into the room thinking it was something that had happened on the show she was watching. And no, she said, and then she goes, "You won't believe it, Catherine O'Hara died." And it didn't seem true. It didn't seem real. And it was something I never would have expected. We're all going to pass eventually, but she was only 71 years old. As of recording this, I did find out she was diagnosed with a very rare condition 20 years ago. And I'm going to try to pronounce this. It's called detoxicardia situs inversus. Sorry. Where the heart is positioned on the right side of the chest instead of the left. So it was something that she discovered 20 years ago that she had, and it wasn't very common. And that sounds like it is what ended up ending her life. Catherine Ann O'Hara was a Canadian and American actress, comedian, and screenwriter whose career spanned over 50 years. She starred in sketch and improvisational comedy in film and television before taking dramatic roles to expand her career. She received various accolades, including 2 Primetime Emmy Awards, a Golden Globe Award, and 2 Screen Actors Guild Awards. O'Hara started her career in the sketch comedy series Second City Television, for which she won a Primetime Emmy Award. She gained acclaim acting in films such as After Hours, Heartburn, Beetlejuice, Home Alone, and Home Alone 2 Lost in New York. She frequently collaborated with Christopher Guest, acting in his mockumentary films Waiting for Guffman, Best in Show, A Mighty Wind, and For Your Consideration. Her voice roles include films The Nightmare Before Christmas, Chicken Little, Over the Hedge, Monster House, Where the Wild Things Are, Frankenweenie, Elemental, and The Wild Robot. O'Hara gained a career resurgence for her role as Moira Rose in the CBC sitcom Schitt's Creek, earning a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy Series and a Golden Globe Award for Best Actress, Television Series, Musical, or Comedy. Her portrayal of Temple Grandin's aunt in the HBO film Temple Grandin earned an Emmy nomination. Other television credits include the HBO drama series 6 Feet Under, the Netflix series A Series of Unfortunate Events, the Apple Plus comedy series The Studio, and the HBO post-apocalyptic drama series The Last of Us. Met production designer Bo Welch on the set of Beetlejuice in 1988, and the two married in 1992. They had 2 sons born in 1994 and 1997. knowing that Catherine O'Hara is gone, it makes the world seem a lot colder. She was somebody that every time I saw her in a movie or a television show, she just made me smile. Or she just brought me into whatever she was doing, because she had done dramatic roles. Recently, she was in The Last of Us. She was in season 2 of The Last of Us, and she was great. And then she was also in The Studio with Seth Rogen, and I loved her in that as well. She was just amazing. And thinking about her passing this past Friday, January the 30th, I started reminiscing about how I felt when John Candy died. I was 19. It was March 4th of 1994. It was a Friday. I had just gotten out of school, and coincidentally, Catherine O'Hara's birthday is March 4th, which is very eerie. But I was going to, at that time in my life, I was going to community college. I had just started working at Round Table Pizza, like maybe a week earlier, and there was a comic book store that was in the same center where Round Table was, the warehouse. It was kind of like my little getaway, back in the 90s when we would rent movies and get pizza and get comic books from the store. And I had been going to Toys and Comics, Pinole Toy and Comics, since I was like 10. And I knew the owners, Butch and Lon. Lon and I were really close. He was a great guy. His wife worked there. They had a little boy. He was a great dude. And that was the same year that actually Pinole Toy and Comic ended up closing, which was a shame. But anyway, going back to this day, I remember walking in to get my comic books, my saver, and Lon telling me that he had heard on the radio that John Candy had died. And it just, again, much like Catherine O'Hara, it just hit me like a brick. It was not real to me, because John Candy was just everything. Much like Anthony Perkins, who had previously been the celebrity that hit me the hardest. That was like the first celebrity death I remember just really hitting me hard, was Anthony Perkins, because I was such a fan. And then John Candy. And I remember going home and turning on CNN and seeing that it was true that John Candy had passed away. And I remember maybe like a day or two later going to the mall and seeing like a display in Suncoast Video, if you remember Suncoast, of John Candy movies, paying tribute to him. And yeah, it never seemed real to me that he was gone. And I feel the exact same way about Catherine O'Hara. As you can see, I'm sporting Nightmare Before Christmas. Of course, she did the voice of Sally. I've been wearing this for the last 3 days, just, with different outfits. But she meant so much to me, and the characters that she brought to life were so amazing. And the first thing that I saw her in was Beetlejuice, which remains my favorite Tim Burton movie. I know that Nightmare Before Christmas is Tim Burton's creation, but he didn't direct it. Henry Selick did. A lot of people forget that. And I did a Tim Burton tribute video back in 2012 when Dark Shadows was about to come out, and I said then that Beetlejuice is my favorite film that he directed, and it remains my favorite film that he directed. I love everybody in that. I went to see it. It's funny, I went to see it Holy Week. I was going to Catholic school at the time. I was in 8th grade. My mom picked me up on March 31st, which was Holy Thursday. It was a half day for us, and then we got Good Friday off, and then the rest of the week off. The coming week, we would get the next week off for like a break. But yeah, I remember my mom taking me to see that at Century 10, the theater in my hometown. And I knew who Michael Keaton was because I had seen Mr. Mom. And outside of him and Jeffrey Jones, I really didn't know anybody else in the cast. But I just remember going to see this movie and just being blown away by it. The Harry Belafonte Deo song starts where they're with Catherine O'Hara leading that whole number. My mom was in tears laughing. We were dying laughing. And Deo comes out of her mouth. It just, oh my God, it was just hilarious because it's so unexpected and so random. And she's just so great in that role. I still quote lines from it. She just had me in stitches in that role, and I was we were honored to get a reprise of that role 36 years after the original with Beetlejuice in September of 2024. I was so happy to see her come back, and she didn't miss a beat, picking up that mantle again and playing that character. She was amazing. And then after that, of course, I would see her as a kid in Home Alone, which came out in 1990. It actually came out a week before Thanksgiving. And I saw it the Wednesday before Thanksgiving because my friends and I had gone to the movie theater to see Predator 2, because Predator 2 had come out. And I think, if I remember correctly, it was my friend Scott, my friend Greg, and my friend Mike. And we were so upset that they hadn't gotten the reels for Predator 2, so we went and saw Home Alone, and Mike had already seen it. And I remember he was so pissed he had to watch it again, but I loved it. And I loved her performance as Kate McAllister, and of course she did it again in 1992 with the sequel Home Alone 2 Lost in New York, which is equally just as much fun. I enjoy both Home Alone films quite a bit. And then of course she would do the voice of Sally in Nightmare Before Christmas, which I would see when it came out on VHS tape, and that would be in the fall of 1994. I didn't see it when it was in the theaters in October of 1993, and I remember buying it when it came out and just watching it before I went to work one day and just being blown away by it, because it dealt with the holiday of Halloween, and I loved Halloween, but I wasn't a musical fan, but I just got so wrapped up in it. And I remember just watching it, and it gave me the feeling of being at my grandparents' house when I was a kid on Halloween, which was always a magical time. That feeling was just encompassed in that film Nightmare Before Christmas, and I absolutely love it. And I'm planning to probably get a Sally tattoo now, because I do have Jack Skellington and I have Oogie Boogie, and I'm like thinking about getting Sally and maybe Lock, Shock, and Barrel, because of course not only did she do Sally's speaking voice as well as the singing, but she also played Shock. And I would love to pay tribute to her in some ink, because those performances and those characters meant so much to me. I'm devastated by the fact that she's gone. And it's just, again, it's like, losing T.K. Carter earlier this year, an actor that I really respected and admired, and somebody that brought a lot of joy to my childhood. The world just seems to be getting smaller for me, because all of these people that made my life so special are leaving us. And, I didn't know Catherine O'Hara personally, but she brought so much joy and warmth to everything I saw her in. I kind of think, and this is just something I thought about when I found out that she had died, that John Candy was there to meet her. John Candy was there, and he was there to give her a big hug, reunited with his friend for 32 years. And that's the solace that I take away from this. But my heart goes out to everybody that worked with her, people like Eugene Levy and Dan Levy, people like Michael Keaton and Chris Sarandon and Tim Burton, and to her husband, Bo Welch, and her children, and everybody that was friends with her and worked with her. And I will always miss her, and I will always treasure these characters and these stories that she brought to life through her amazing talents. And I just wanted to make sure that I said something about her and paid tribute to this amazing woman that meant so much to me. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking the time to watch this. And I promise I'll talk to you again real soon. Take it easy. Stay scared as always. Peace.
Mom. Good night, Kevin.